Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rizal. Can you just give me an indication that you can hear me? Excellent. Thanks, Daniel, for that very detailed presentation. You've actually covered all the points that I was going to speak about, but I'll just run through it anyway. Let me just share my screen. Daniel, if you could just turn off your screen share, then I can share mine. All right. My story today is very concise. As I said before, Daniel covered most of the things I was going to chat about, but I'm just going to run through one or two things for more detail. I just wanted to touch on the categories. Daniel did go through them, but I just wanted to go through it a little bit more detail. So, as Daniel said, the categories essentially is the way that you identify and distribute your data through the system. So that will categorize where the information that you capture lies within the system. So with categories, if I can just open the screen here, we have different types. So you'll have asset, liabilities, equity, revenue, income, cost of sales, and so on. The first three, asset, liability, and equity, relates to the balance sheet. Revenue, income, cost of sales, expenses, that relates to your income statement. And then obviously the adjustments relate to the tax adjustments that you do at the end. You can select any one of these and then give it a description. The description is whatever you want it to be. There are a standard set that comes with when you install. There'll be a standard set of categories that you can use from the get-go, but you can add and customize these categories as you see fit. For the expenses on the income statements, there's an options box that becomes available when you select expense category types, and these options will identify if this expense is either a foreign interest, depreciation, amortization, and interest, and this is relative to the working out of the EBITDA amount, which is relative to the foreign interest section 23M calculations. So that's brought into the expenses on the income statement. That is on categories. Category mapping, that's the other thing I wanted to touch on. Daniel showed you how to import data into Company Taxplanner. The category mapping is essentially, it shows you, or you can specify descriptions that will map to certain categories when you do the import. So if you're doing an import and a line item has this specific description that you specify under the mapping, then it will automatically categorize that dependent on your mapping here. That's the mapping. Imports, I think Daniel's covered most of the imports. I just want to touch on the layouts. You can specify custom layouts. So if example, you are exporting your information, your trial balance from a financial system, and we don't have it as a standard option here. You can actually create it. So you can go insert and you give it a name, file type CSV or ASCII, and you specify the field delimiter. These things are quite technical, but it's fairly easy to set up. So you specify the delimiter, which is what separates the fields. Is it a comma? Is it a semicolon? Is it a pipe character? And if the file contains a header row, so all that is does it contain a row that has descriptions in it? And that would be the first row. So if you tag that, it will essentially ignore the first line when it does the actual import. And then once you've got that set up, you can set up the detail for that layout. So DraftWorks, for example, will have those two fields. The first field will be the description. The second field will be the amount. On my example here, I've got three fields. First field description, second field credit amount, and third field debit amount. And when you set these things up, let me just go change there. All you have to say is the field an alphabetic or alphanumeric field? Which field does it link to? Is it a description? Is it an amount? Is it a debit amount, credit amount, and so on? Those are all presets. And what position in the file does the field occur? So is it the first field in the file? Is it the second, and so on and so on. So you can customize an import file by setting up the setting here. All right, that's imports. The only other thing I wanted to touch on was the cover page, which Daniel's also shown. So the cover page is also a custom page that you can add to your reports. Um, so you'll set it up under the report settings. And I've just got a bunch of test information here. You can select between some of the built-in designs, or you can use your own custom image if you want to use your own company letterhead or that type of thing. And then essentially what that will do is when you print reports, it will include the cover page as part of the report, whatever report you're pulling. So when you're drawing a report, let's just save that and we go to a report. And let's say you want to print the income statement, but you want to include the cover page. So there's a selection box that says include cover page. And when you draw the income statement, it will include the cover page before it actually gives you the income statement. What else? Okay, then the only other thing, I think Daniel's touched on this as well, but I'll go through it again. On the compare screen, he spoke briefly about scenarios. So if you want to, you'll see that you have an option to compare between 1 to 4 different scenarios. Now you'll notice that there's a scenario number on the top here. So when you're capturing your data, that is per scenario. I can capture up to 4 different scenarios of financial information, and I can then use those scenarios to compare. So it's not only a facility where you can compare different tax types of the same scenario, but you can also use it to compare different financial captures or information. Um, you can do that as well, and obviously you can combine comparing between the financial values and the tax types involved. So that's a nice feature. I think that is all from a technical perspective that I wanted to touch on. I don't know if Rizal has any further closing comments she wants to make. I'm going to hand over to you, Rizal.
There you go. Thank you, Rizal. Thank you very much for your input. We really appreciate that, and yeah, thank you for clarifying a lot of those technical matters for us. Are there any other questions from you guys before we sign off for today's support webinar? Is there anything that you found useful, insightful that you would like us to elaborate more on while we're busy now? If there's no questions from you guys, I think we are going to be wrapping up this support webinar in about 5 minutes' time. But please take this opportunity to ask a few more questions. Is there anything about the program that you didn't understand that you would like to know more about? You're more than welcome to ask any questions, further questions on the user or usability of the program specifically. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in yet, so that is very good to see. Yeah, anything? How did you find the session, guys? Is there anything else that you want to ask for today about company tax plan and how it can make your life so much easier? Someone is typing. Let's have a quick glance at that. Okay, looks like you covered everything. Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much for everyone. I think if that is all, I think we're going to end the webinar now. Does it link to SARS at all? Rizal, you can answer that. Just waiting for Rizal will provide feedback for you now on does it link to SARS. I know with individual taxpayer there is a definite link to SARS. but for the new program, I think that will come on later. Yeah, Rizal is saying not at the moment. We are busy getting approval from SARS for the ITR 14. So that will be coming online shortly. Yeah, we are still in the process of getting that sorted out. Yeah. But yeah, in essence, it will work exactly the same as individual tax planning in the sense of it's not only going to help you with compiling the information, but it's going to link the information directly to SARS, just minimizing the effect of the human factor, just eliminating all of the errors specifically. Okay, someone else is typing. Any other questions? Okay, let's see. I'll check if there were any other questions that weren't addressed. Let's just have a quick go through. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, Natalie, that's fine. Someone is typing. Let's have a quick glance. Okay, Natalie's saying, are you guys going to bring BO info in to connect to CIPC? Definitely, I think later on that is something we are definitely going to look at bringing in. I think that is definitely something a lot of people have been asking for as well. CIPC, I don't think Razak can correct me if I'm saying, but at current, yeah, trust as well. Yeah, no, that's definitely something that's look. The program is going to be evolving. There is going to be constant updates coming out and new features and all that kind of stuff. But for the moment, we're not linking to CIPC as of yet, as far as I know. Razak can correct me if I'm mistaken. Yeah. Rizal making a good point. We already have a developed program called SEC Forms, which does all of your CIPC related certificates and linking all that kind of stuff. So you can just check out SEC Forms as well. But we can build a link between this program and SEC Forms as well. So we at the moment we have two programs, but going forward we can look at making it one interlinking program as well. So that's a fantastic suggestion. Thank you, Natalie. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yeah, for the trust as well. That is definitely something we'll look at building in going forward. Anything else from anyone before we do a wrap up? And I think that's going to be it for us for today. So, any other questions? Look, if there's anything about or that's unclear about today's webinar, you're more than welcome to send a mail to Biz Facility, to Rizal, or to Ashton, and they will get back to you on your specific queries. I think that is going to be a wrap for today as well. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for attending today's training session or support webinar, rather say. It's been a pleasure presenting to you guys today, and I hope to see you at some of our future training sessions. I hope to see you at some of our future software releases. As I said, we're going to be seeing a lot of new updates coming out for the software in the coming months. There's still a lot of things we want to improve on the software. I think it's going to be only adding value to an already existing good product, and we're going to be getting in the new updates in the start of next year. So do watch the space, and as always, it has been an absolute pleasure presenting to you guys today, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you for attending. Cheers, guys.